Today we're going to be doing the Palmetto Armory Dagger Compact versus the Glock 19 Gen 5, and that's coming up next here on Jesse B Outdoors. Welcome back everybody, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment down below if you like videos like this. So what we're doing today is we're comparing the Palmetto Armory Dagger here. This is the Compact. Now pretty much everybody should know by now this is a Glock Gen 3 19 clone. Well, I only got a Gen 5 19, so we're going to do a comparison of the two. So let's go ahead, we're going to take it over to the table. I'm going to show you some of the differences and some of the stuff that's the same about them, and then we're going to take it outside, shoot them, and I'm going to tell you my shooting impressions of both of them, so let's get started. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is a safety check here. You can see this is the Dagger, nothing in the chamber there. No magazine in it. This gun is safe. We got the Glock here. Now with the Glock, there's nothing in the chamber. No magazine in it. So these guns are safe to handle. So we're going to start off right on top of the slide and we're going to look at the sights here. This is the Dagger here, and you can see we got metal 3-dot sights here. These ones are actually night sights here that are on this one. But the regular Dagger does come with a 3-dot sight setup with metal. That's a huge thing. For the price of this of being 300 beans, it comes with metal sights. Right here, we've got the Glock. Now this one, I paid 550 beans for, but a lot of places they're going for 600 beans. And this one, I've got XS sights on it, but it came with plastic sights, and that's one downfall here of the Glock. They come with plastic sights at that price, where the PSA Dagger comes with metal sights right from the factory. You got to give a plus to the Dagger for that. Now sticking to the slide here, you can see this one's got an optics cut. You can get the PSA Daggers now for around 300 beans with optics cuts on them. This one is an RMR, but they also have a doctor cut. That's real nice that they're offering that right off the bat with their gun. Here with the Glock, you would have to get the MOS system here, and those I've seen anywhere from 650 beans up to 700 beans, and you got to buy your own plates and everything if you want to put an optic on this. Or you can knock this out here and people sell plates to put on the back, but I heard pretty much most of those are junk. So I really like that the PSA Dagger, for basically half the price or more than half the price, is coming with an optics cut, and that's a plus over the Glock. Now sticking with the frame here, the one thing I want to show you on the PSA Dagger, it's beveled in the front here and it matches on the frame, and we got front cocking serrations. That's really nice that this comes from the factory right off the bat like that. The Glock Gen 3s don't do that. Now my Gen 5 here, it has the bevel here, but mine is a newer model, so the frame is beveled with it. They screwed up on the Gen 5s when they first came out. They had this squared off down here on the frame, and it looked ugly not having it beveled like the slide here, and I'm glad they end up fixing that. Also, we got the front cocking serrations here on the Gen 5. I know on Gen 4 you could get some models with that on there, but not all of them came with it. And of course the Gen 3s don't have that. So that's another thing I like about the Dagger here, that right off the bat, for about half the price, it came with all those features the first time around. Now I want to move to the front of the slide, and this is a draw. They only got one rail right here, section right here on the PSA Dagger. They basically copied the Glock with that, and it matches. I wish they would have done a pick rail on here, since they're not trying to exactly copy a Glock here. That would have been a real nice touch. Now we're going to take a look at the Dagger here, and we're going to look at the trigger guard here. You can see this has got a really high finger groove underneath here. That's real nice to get your finger up under there real high. It makes it more comfortable to shoot. And then so they don't copy Glock, they made a little bit different design on the front of the trigger guard. We can see here on the Glock, the undercut's not near as high, and this gives you what people call a Glock knuckle. And a lot of people take a Dremel and widen that out there to make their finger tuck up in there a lot better. The one thing I wish Palmetto State would have done is they would have done a different design where it was more like this, and would have made more holster options a lot more available to swap between these two guns. Now the next thing we're going to move to is we're going to move to the magazine release here. You can see here on the Dagger, there's barely any texture on this one, and it is really stiff. There is not a lot of surface area on that. Actually, I'm going to have a future video coming up here. I'm going to be changing that out for something, but like I said, that's going to be in a future video. Now on the Gen 4 and Gen 5 Glocks, we got this one that's nice and wider, and it's easier to hit, and the spring is not near as stiff. On the Gen 4s and 5s, this is reversible. Of course, on the Gen 3s are exactly the same as the PSA. So on this one, I would actually have to give it the Glock because it's reversible and it's a lot easier to use. So now what I want to look at here is the slide release. Because the PSA Dagger is a Gen 3 clone here, it's only got it on one side and not the other. Now on a Gen 5 Glock, one reason why I bought this is because I'm a left-handed, and you can see here we got one right there, but we also got one on the right-hand side too for lefties like me. So on that one, I'm going to have to give the Glock because I'm a lefty and I really like that. I know most of you right-handed guys really don't care, so that one you're going to give to either one of them. Now the next thing I want to look at is the grip, the actual design of the grip, the texture of the grip, and the finger grooves. This one also has a cutout for strip and mags on the bottom. I really like that. But this thing is rounded off. Look at that. This just feels so much better in the hand with the roundness on it. Your hand just tucks up real nice in there. The hump hits you right down here where it should on that. I really like that about the PSA Dagger. Now Glock on the Gen 5s, it's just blocky. Even though they got rid of the finger grooves, and that's one reason why I got a Gen 5, they need to round it off more. It still feels blocky. This bend right here don't hit my fingers like it does in the Dagger, and that just feels so much better. Now one thing Glock did do is they put a little bit of a flared mag well on it. That's a real nice touch if you're looking for quick reloads, or if you like the Dagger better for stripping it, that might be a better option. The only thing I wish the Dagger would have done is got rid of the hump completely. That hits my finger in the wrong spot, just like the Gen 3 and Gen 4 Glocks. I wish they would have done like this. But to the grip, I'm going to give that one to the Dagger. The grip feels so much better than the Glock. Now you can see here we got the slides here. And of course, it don't matter what Gen Glock is, they all take down the same. And if you're going to be a Glock clone, you better be taken down the same way on that also, because you're a Glock clone. So yes, takedown is the same on all these. We're going to start with the Glock one here first. Now the Gen 4 and Gen 5s have this dual captured recoil spring, and it is plastic guide rod on there. The back is a little bit metal. So on this one, we'll move over to the Dagger, and the Dagger, you get a all metal spring and guide rod. You can see these are a little bit dirty because I have shot them. But that's a real nice touch that PSA comes with a metal one from the factory. Now I do have a Gen 3 assembly here, and if you got a Glock Gen 3 19, it is plastic also. So we're going to have to give this one to the Dagger for coming from the factory with a metal spring and guide rod. Next thing we're going to look at is going to be the barrels here. We're going to look at the Dagger barrel first here. And you can see this has got a DLC coating on it, and this has an awful lot of wear on it right there. You can see the ring around it. There's wear from here to here on this, wear down here. Like I said, I bought this used, so I have no clue how many rounds have been through this. Now the finish on this Glock Gen 5, it's doing about the same thing. I can't remember what they use on this for the coating, but you can see there's a ring up there, a little bit of marking up there on the lockup. You can see a line from here to here on there. This has only got about 500 rounds through it. To me, that's a lot of wear. My Gen 4 barrel didn't nearly show that much wear on it at all. Now, one thing I really like about the PSA Dagger, look at that crowning. That is nice. So if you drop this on the muzzle here, if you nick it, scratch it or anything, it won't affect your accuracy on it. The Glock don't have that. Now that, I'm going to give credit to the Dagger for that. Then we're going to look at the back here. You can see the slide's not polished on the Glock. Same thing on this one, it's not polished on the Dagger. Now you can barely see down there, but the Dagger's got regular rifling on it. This is Glock's new Marksman barrel. And you can kind of tell I need to clean these. Like I said, they've both been shot. So when it comes to the barrel here, I'm going to call it a draw. But when it comes to the crowning, I'm going to say the Dagger's better. Okay, now you can see we got the Dagger slide here. And I'm just looking at the inside of it. And you guys can see there is wear, of course, right there. Same spot where it is on the hood. But the machine work on it, where the light is hitting on there, I don't really see nothing wrong at all with the machine work on this. I think they did a great job of that. Here's the Glock one. You can see the Glock don't have a plunger on the Gen 5 here. It's a little bit different setup on that. But besides that, they're basically the same. Got the same amount of wear down there where the hood of the barrel hits. But machine work, I'd say it's a tie on these also. I mean, this dagger looks pretty much exactly the same as the Glock does, so I'd say that's a tie on those. Now there's a couple more things I want to go over while this is off here. What I want to show you guys is the pins. On the Glocks, you got a pin right there. This one's a Gen 5, so there's only two, and a pin right there. These are nice pins that Glock uses on every generation. Now here on the Palmetto State Armory Dagger, this one has got the pin in the front, then it's got the pin right here for the trigger, and the pin right here in the back. This is how all the other Glocks are up to Gen 4. Gen 5, like I just showed you, is different. The one thing I don't like about the dagger, you can see down in there, this is actually a roll pin. You can actually see right through it. And then this one up here, same way. That is a roll pin. The trigger one, they use the same. Just so you guys can see here, I'll try to hold them like this so you guys can see the difference in them. That's what they look like. And like I said, the Gen 5 Glock is one less pin because that's the design they went to. But I don't like that about the dagger. So I'm going to have to give that one to the Glock. Now one thing I know that's different on the dagger here is the block in the rear. I'm not sure about the front because I haven't taken this apart yet and I haven't done much research on it. But leave a comment down below if you guys know if the locking block on this comes out just like the block in the rear. But the block is a separate piece from the rest of the trigger assembly here. When we go to the Glock here, that is all one piece that pops out, in the same way with the locking block. So that's one thing that I know that's different on the dagger, is that locking block part with the rails on it separates from the rest of this trigger group. Now let's get into triggers here. We'll grab the dagger again here. And I got the guns opened up because we're messing with the triggers, so I just want to show they are clear here. Now you can see here on the dagger, this has a hinged flat trigger that's like the M&P. Originally I thought I was going to hate this because I hate the ones on the M&Ps, but believe it or not, I actually really like that. Of course, Glock here, you have the normal Glock trigger with the safety lever here. It's not bad, but it's not the greatest either. So on the actual trigger shoe, I'm going to give that one to the dagger here. I think that it feels a lot better, but to me this is also going to be personal preference on it. But to me they both feel great and I can shoot them both great. Now the next thing I want to do is I got my Wheeler trigger pull gauge here. Let's test the trigger pull on them. Now I've done a trigger pull on this gun before, but we're going to do it again in this video. We got my Wheeler gauge here, so we're going to try this out here. Now this has a hinge trigger on it, so it's kind of tricky to get it on there, but we're going to try it out here and pull it, and we can see right there we got almost 5.5 pounds on it. We'll do it one more time just to make sure here. Zero this out here, do another pull on it. Oop, that's why I said this is a little bit tricky with that hinge trigger. Get it on there again, pull at an angle. That time we got a little bit under 5.5 pounds. Not too bad, not too bad. Let's try the Glock. All right, now we're going to try the Glock here. We're going to do the same thing, pull it right here. You can see that one, we got pretty much 6.5 on that. That's about where most Glocks are from the factory. We'll try it one more time here. Get this going here. All right, and we got about 6.5 again, very consistent on that one. But you can see here on the dagger, like I said, I don't know the round count on it, but the trigger pull weight is actually better on the dagger than it is on the Glock. Now one more difference I want to go over with, the dagger here, there is no back straps to put on this. That's just like the Gen 3 Glock though. Gen 4 and Gen 5, you get back straps on the back of this, so you can put it to make it fit your hand better. So on that, we're going to give that one to the Glock Gen 5. So you can see here on the tabletop part, the dagger's got a lot of stuff going for it over the Glock right off the bat from the factory. So now let's take it outside and shoot them, and I'll tell you my shooting impressions of both. Now we're outside. I'm not going to put a lot of rounds through these because you guys, if you follow my channel, you know I've shot both of these guns a ton of times. So what we're going to do is the first magazine, all the magazines in this are going to be Glock magazines to make it equal. What I got is the 15 round Gen 5s here. And I only got 5 rounds in both of these. I'm going to shoot at the big silhouette target next to the coyote here. and I'm just going to get my aim down and give you what my thought and compare them. And then the mags after that are going to be Glock 17 round mags, and we'll do some transitions with those, and I'll give you my opinion on them. Let's go ahead and get started here. Palmetto State Dagger first. Alright, just as before, shoots pretty good here. I'm not used to shooting it with this slide on it anymore. If you follow the channel, you know I got a decked out slide for this now, but still not too bad for not shooting it for a while. Trigger feels like a Glock, just like it's a Glock clone. Like I said, I actually like the trigger shoe on this one a little bit better. Let's go ahead and grab the Gen 5 here. Now we got the Glock Gen 5, same thing. That's one thing I like better about this. It's made for a lefty. I like the ambi features on it. Let's try the same thing here. Now, I feel like I'm a little more dead on with the Glock, and that's probably because I've shot Glocks for years. Even though I don't like the way this feels compared to the Dagger, I do like this one. I can tell I shoot this one a lot better, even though I just changed the sights on this at XS sights. Just the feel of a Glock to me is natural, so it feels like I just shoot it better. Let's grab some more magazines. Now we got Glock 17 round mags here. I only got them loaded up with 10 rounds. I'm just going to go left to right and double tap, and then on the rest of the rounds, we'll see what I do after that. We're going to start with the Coyote. Definitely not used to these sights anymore. Let's go ahead and move to the Glock. Alright, we're going to do the same thing here, left to right. Alright, I was shooting kind of quick on these, but I'm pretty sure that I shot this one better. So, let's go ahead and finish out this video, and I'll tell you my final thoughts on this. Alright, so what's my final thoughts? Do I pick the PSA Dagger or the Glock 19 Gen 5? And my decision is both. If you can afford both of them, go ahead and get them. There's a lot of great things about the PSA Dagger here. To me, this is the #1 budget gun out there. With me, this is my own opinion. Leave a comment down below on what yours is. But I've shot Glocks for so long, I feel that I shoot this better. But I feel like when I got my other slide on this with the red dot and everything on it, I do shoot this one better. I do like the feel of the grip so much better on the Dagger than over the Glock. But pretty much, to me, even though this is a Gen 3 clone and this is a Gen 5, to me, they pretty much shoot about the same. It just depends what you're used to. But I always go back to the grip on the Dagger. I just think it feels so much better on it. So I'm not going to pick a winner on it. I'd say you should get both of them. That's just my opinion. Leave a comment down below on what you think. So as always, don't forget to check the links out down below. Down there, I have links to Gators I wear. In today's video, I'm testing out the Axle X cores. These are working pretty good for me. I used them in my Let Freedom Ring video. This is my second video with them. I'm really starting to like them. I'll have links down below for all the Axle products I like using. And right now, they are doing a summer sale on there where you're getting a heck of a deal. This is the summer of 2023. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Leave a comment down below. We are one nation under God. And I'll see you all on the next one.